So, hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're new. My name is Shawnee, and I'm dressed like a clown because I feel like an absolute clown after watching the finale of American Horror Story Double Feature. But before I get into the review and all the things that I think went absolutely wrong, make sure that you guys are subscribed and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know every time I post. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So, first off, I would like to say, I hated that finale. I felt like there were so many things that could have been done that were not. I feel like there were, I don't want to say loose ends, but I just felt like there could have been so much more done in the time span of this portion of the season or just the season in general. There's a lot. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to do a separate video on how I feel like season 10 double feature should have gone. It kind of sucks that so many of the theories that I had and that you guys had and just everyone in general, that they kind of went straight to shit because the story, it went somewhere, but it didn't go anywhere that anyone wanted it to go. So I will be uploading a video soon about how I think it should have ended and how everything should have tied in with a couple of theories that I haven't talked about. I was a little upset. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am a little bit sick. And I was going to record my final theories video on Monday to have that uploaded for you guys on Tuesday, but I just did not feel good and I didn't get around to it. And I felt bad because I was like, I really want to talk about like some final things that I thought were going to happen. But I'm kind of glad I didn't because none of the things that I theorized came true anyway. So it's kind of a good thing that I didn't do that. But anyway, let's just get into the episode and talk about what happened. So the episode starts off in 1972 and we have Nixon and Henry Kissinger, and I can't remember who the other guy were. They're talking about the Vietnam War. There are people outside chanting because they don't want a war. They want it over. They want it ended. And Nixon is annoyed. We later find out that Val is sitting there and he's like, you know, we told you would have to get lumped up a bit. It's all a plan from the aliens. So basically all the war and all of the destruction was the idea of the aliens, and it was done to kind of, create distraction while they do alien things in the background. And, Nixon is just like, what is this going to be over? And Val tells him that they expect the perfect human alien hybrid to be born in 2021. And Val explains that there are many distractions that will be happening, and it's not just war. And as they're talking about this, we start seeing Henry Kissinger. I think it's Kissinger. He's just being really weird. He's got these lumps on his face. He's got the reptilian eyeballs, and then he sticks out his tongue, and he is a reptilian. Now, I thought it was a little weird to bring in the reptilians. Like, okay, yes, that's conspiracy fodder. It kind of ties into politics, because if you've ever heard about reptilians, a lot of people think that a lot of our, current day politicians are reptiles. They're reptilian. You can look up the videos on YouTube and, people saying their eyes shifted and they blink sideways and all those kind of things. So I get it, but it's also out of place with the whole alien storyline. And I feel like it's kind of late to bring in the reptilians, but whatever. So anyway, in 1969, we cut to Dwight Eisenhower in the hospital bed with Mamie. And he's basically talking about how he feels like everything that's happening to him with him being sick. And I think Eisenhower in real life died of a heart attack or heart problems. And he just, is like, it's all the fault of the aliens, but it's my fault because I, agreed to this. So I'm getting what I deserve in the end. And he's watching a broadcast basically about Nixon and everything that's going on. And he notices Kissinger's eyes, doing the reptilian thing. Mind you, this is 1969. So this is 3 years before the scene that we just saw in the White House with Nixon. And Mamie's just like, oh, you're crazy. Like there's nothing, whatever. And basically, I'm sorry. Basically, Eisenhower kind of explains to Mamie that Val had told him that when they were abducting the people in the past, they found one of the reptilian people and they hid it away because they didn't want to scare Eisenhower and them. So basically the reptilians are just like, the aliens. They're able to live in America and, live on Earth and look normal because they look like regular human beings. So like I said, he feels like everything that's happening to him is because of his treaty with the aliens. And Val ends up coming in, and Mamie's like, finally, maybe you can talk some sense into him. And, he's telling Eisenhower, like, I can take you to Area 51. You can live forever, whatever. And he's just like, nah. He's like, I never trusted you guys. And he basically tells Mamie and Val that they deserve each other, and he dies. So after that, Mamie says that she refuses to die. She wants to live forever. She doesn't want to go out how he went out. And basically after that, we cut back to 1972, and Nixon receives a visit from Gordon Liddy, and he basically tells him about the aliens' plans to take over and everything like that. And he feels like they're going to kill him because he doesn't want to agree with them anymore. And he made this quote that I thought was kind of cool. And he said, I was supposed to be the ringleader of the circus, but I am not burning up with the clowns, which I was already going to do a clown look. But as I was rewatching the episode and I realized he said it, I was like, it all ties in. This is for a competition, but whatever. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And he basically tells Gordon Liddy, like, you need to bug Val's office in Watergate. So this is how American Horror Story is explaining the Watergate scandal that happened in real life with Nixon, which led to his, him resigning from office. So later on, we see this investigator, this journalist talking to somebody, and he's like, I can't believe it's you. And it's Mamie. She's like, I have all the information, but you can't tell anybody my name. You have to call me Deep Throat. And if you know anything about American history and the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover, you know all about Deep Throat. And so Val and Mamie are talking like the next day or whatever. And, Nixon's on the TV, talking about everything that's going on. And basically, Val is just like, how did you think of this name? Like, I can't believe it's you. You're so smart. And she's like, oh, no one would ever think, that dirty name from that dirty movie had anything to do with me. If you don't know, Deep Throat was like a big deal back in the 70s. It was like the first like major link like porno. It was shown like in adult theaters and stuff back then. We lived in pretty wild times back then. But yeah, so it was a big deal. People were censoring and all that kind of stuff. But Mamie feels like they should kill Nixon, and Val's just like, no, that's too dangerous. We can't just kill him. People will know if he dies mysteriously. So he has another plan. And as Nixon is in his office, talking about everything and how he's freaking out and, just kind of having a breakdown, he ends up getting visited by the aliens, and he ends up getting abducted and probed. And, basically he ends up resigning like Val wanted him to. And Val is just like, it was just a medical procedure. Like, I don't know why you humans are so upset by it, because probing and, prostate exams, I guess. I don't know. And situation with Nixon resigning, Mamie ends up telling Val that she's ready to make her exit and she wants to go to Area 51 because she wants to live forever. So this happens in 1979. So in Area 51 in 1979, mind you, Calico has already been there for 10 years since 1969. Mamie ends up meeting Calico, and then, they kind of talk about everything. Calico's like fangirling over Mamie. She's like, oh, you made me celebrate birthday parties and Halloween and la, 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 whatever. Then we zoom to the present day. So the present day starts off with Jamie and Kendall in their bedroom. There's like sirens blazing, and the, the soldiers, the officers are just like raiding about, and they're trying to figure out what's happening, and they are storming through because of an unauthorized death, which of course is Cal and Troy after Cal's baby, went crazy and killed them. So they find their dead bodies, and the baby, the little tentacle baby, jumps down onto one of the officers' face. His name's Ronnie. And the other officers they end up killing him in the process of trying to kill the baby. And Theta comes in like, what the hell? Like, why did you guys kill the baby? Like, we were so close to perfection, and, you killed it, and you should have spared the officer. They end up seeing that the baby had a genetic mutation that they hadn't seen in like 2 cycles or whatever. And Theta, takes it away for observation and ends up having the other 4 officers killed and replaced with new ones. After that, we have Kendall and Jamie still trying to figure out what's going on, and they think that Cal and Troy have escaped, and Calico basically tells them, like, are y'all stupid? Like, I've told you before, like, you can't get out of here. No one gets out of here. Like, nah. So they end up going to the moon set to find them, and they end up finding their dead bodies. And as they go in there, they're saying, like, there's no hope, blah, 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 blah. And they end up being found by Theta and one of the other nurses, and Jamie starts going into labor, having these pains, and Theta like knocks them out. So we cut to another scene of Theta. I mean, bleh. Well, yeah, of Theta in the room with Jamie and Kendall about to give birth, and obviously, they're freaking out and panicking. They don't know what's going on, and they're so annoyed or whatever about everything. And Jamie ends up, going into labor, giving birth. Theta and the nurse take the baby. The baby is one step away from perfection, but obviously it's not perfect. So baby gets the next slice, and then Jamie's like crying out for her baby. Jamie gets it next. Theta, orders for her to be killed. So of course Kendall's freaking out. She just saw her friend, get her throat slit and watched her friend's baby get its throat slit. So she's just over here like, going crazy, like a little bit confused. And as they're sitting here, Kendall's like about to go into labor too. And, they're like, this has to be the perfect specimen. So Kendall, gives birth. Her baby is perfect. And they're like, oh my goodness, this is creation. So they take the baby away. And then Kendall's like, it's not worth it. Like, you guys just want to defeat the humans. And then you guys are going to end up greedy like us because you're not going to have anybody to compete with anymore. And she's like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And then Theta's like, well, that doesn't matter. Like, and then lasers off her head and it falls to the floor, and they end up bringing in like this big circular like spherical robot head, and they're like, all right, put that on her body to preserve the vessel, since Kendall's body is now a vessel for creating the alien hybrid babies, the perfect babies. So as this is happening, we cut to another scene of Calico celebrating Mamie's birthday. She's gotten like a special made cupcake, like an actual cupcake, not Jello food, for Mamie, and Mamie's just confused about everything that's going on. She doesn't understand, and she ends up going to Val because he's still there, obviously. And he basically tells her the plan to get rid of all the humans and just repopulate the earth with the hybrids now. There's no need for them anymore. And he makes like this analogy about like the gardener in the garden. And he's like, earth is the garden and humanity is the gardener. And, if humanity destroys the garden, then we're going to just fire the gardener. So the humans have to die. And obviously Mamie's not going to die because she's no longer human. So she doesn't have that to worry about. So he tells her like certain people will be spared and, all those, whatever. And he also says that they're going to cohabitate the earth with the reptilians. And he was like, yeah, your husband was right. And she's just like, wow, like Mamie's obviously confused and she feels like betrayed. But I mean, girl, like your husband tried to tell you from jump and you fell in love with this like alien robot thing and you just didn't want to listen to him. But whatever. So she ends up talking to Theta, and Theta tells Mamie, like, oh, well, I didn't know we were going to get rid of the humans, and which was a lie. Theta knew everything all along. And Calico and Mamie kind of decide they want to kill Kendall's like vessel body and the baby hybrids. And then that way they can, kind of halt the progression of the world takeover if they do that. So they end up deciding to do that. And they decide they want Theta's help. So they go over to Theta and, Theta basically kind of tricks Mamie as Mamie's about to slit the throat of the baby. Theta's like, you thought you had me fooled. Like, you humans are evil. You're selfish. You don't want to help other people. So why should we help you? It's our turn to be like you guys and be selfish. And she ends up blowing up Mamie's head. And then, Calico, like one thing that they did say was, I think she said like, it was like the moral purpose or something like that. Like you have to do what's good for the moral, like, whatever. Oh, she says immoral acts become moral when it's done to the service of all humanity. So basically she makes like this analogy about killing baby Hitler or Stalin if you knew they were going to grow up to be Hitler or Stalin. Like, would you kill them to save everyone or would you just let them live and then let everybody die? So anyway, like I said, Mamie, dies and Calico ends up, being accepted to help Theta take care of all the new babies. And she finally gets to be a mom and she gets to birth the next baby from Kendall's body. And that was the end of the episode. So I did not like the episode. It was very weak. I thought it was stupid to include the reptilians when we haven't had anything about them this whole time. I thought it was, I don't know, like it just felt very rushed. And I hate the fact, like, I was dead set. Like, I was so dead set on the seasons being connected until right before this episode. Like, I just was like, I don't think it's going to happen. Because all the theories that I thought, they just would not make sense because we would need so much more information to kind of pull them along. Like, if we had gotten like a 2-hour finale or maybe like an hour, 30-minute finale or something like that, that would have been cool, but we didn't. So, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of stuff was just... like unnecessary, and a lot of things were just could have been done. But I've just come to the conclusion that American Horror Story, it's just not what it used to be for me. And I mean, 2 whole years, and that's what we got. Like, I don't know. I do wish that if they were going to make two completely self-contained parts of the same season, I wish we had gotten an even split if we had gotten 5 episodes for each, because I feel like Red Tide had more episodes to tell story in, but it fell flat at the end. And I feel like this one had a lot more room for story, but it fell flat at the end because we didn't have enough time to tell a story. Um, I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more after the birth of the child. It just was weird. I like the season. Well, no, I like this half of the season, but it was lacking so much for me. And like I said, I'm going to do a video about how I think it should have ended. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But yeah, how did you guys feel about the finale? Were you wowed? Were you upset? Were you angry? Were you annoyed? You still gonna watch American Horror Story after this? Let me know in the comments down below. I just want to let you know there is gonna be some more content on this channel relating to some more TV shows. I have been watching the Child's Play show, so I will be reviewing that. I wanted to do the review of the first 2 episodes together, so that's going to be coming out soon. And I'll probably be reviewing some horror movies since we are in October, and some other things. But let me know what you guys would like to see in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.